what you've heard?
Well, I'm very impressed. I think at this moment I'm probably likely to start and like politicians, which I never thought I would do again. It's one of the most positive debates. Obviously I have to admit to bias before I say any more, but I think it's the first time I've ever seen both sides of the House agreeing and saying very positive things, and it bodes well for the future. I have to temper that a little bit, of course, with what's happened in the past, but you know, I think it's a good day for Parliament, if I may say that.
And as you heard in there, the ayes have it. What's your reaction?
Yeah, we expected that, I think, but we didn't expect it to be unanimous. Now, whether that's a technicality or not, I'm not bothered. But, you know, the motion was carried, and that was what it was about.
Did it surprise you how emotional everybody was?
Yes and no. As I said, I've always thought politicians were a bit plastic in many ways, and that it was all surface and not much substance. But again, I think this is another day for Parliament to have shown that it's got a heart as well as a brain.
And just finally, what's next now? Does this bring closure, or is there still...
No, closure will come at some time in the future. Obviously the first thing is the report next summer, and then after that we'll see. Okay, thanks.
Trevor, how are you doing? You all right?
Sorry. Sorry. It's all right, no problem. No problems at all. I'm used to that.
Just wait here, don't go any further.
Have a word with everyone else. Hi, Jenny. You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
Just really reaction to the debate. There's a lot
I'll do it separately.
3-4 hours. That moment when they read all the names out in Parliament, as Steve mentioned, it's the first time it's been recorded on Hansard. Was that quite a poignant moment for yourself?
Very, very poignant for all of the families, not just myself. I mean, it was a very moving experience for us all. I mean, we were holding each other's hand, and I just thought, yes, what a way to remember the 96. You know, for Steve to have done that, and I thought it was a great credit to him, but also it was a proud moment for us as families.
Great.
Was it even more than you expected, perhaps? Did you get a sense that perhaps the pendulum was swinging at all?
Yes, well, obviously, I'm sure you all understand that we've had, for 22 years, we have been, you know, let down many a time. One minute you're on a high, the next thing you're let down. So we've always got to be on the side of caution now. But after tonight, I've got a lot more faith.
Sure. And the word spoken about News International, Kelvin Mackenzie, what were your thoughts about that?
Absolutely delighted when that was said about. We've been saying this about Kelvin Mackenzie for 20-odd years. As Jenny said earlier on, she doesn't want an apology now. Give us what I've asked for when Andy Burnham mentioned it. Give us, if you're any remorse in you whatsoever, give us the informant who spread that news. That will be some sort of an apology. And I think that is so important, because when them lies were bantered around about the 96 and all our fans and survivors, that gave us the injustice where we are. That's why we're still talking to you today.
And are you confident he will do that?
Well, shame on him if he doesn't. I mean, everybody's been asking for it now. Shame on him if he doesn't.
Sure. Thanks.
Margaret, can I ask you, what do you think the significance of this debate has been tonight?
I think it's been it's history really as well. What's happened tonight? It's also history that 96 names people who died were read out in the House of Commons. I think that is a proud moment for the families for their 96 to be remembered in that way. But I just think tonight was an absolutely wonderful night for the families. I think what they've heard there, I'm sure it's going to ease their minds now, and hopefully for the fans and survivors, it will help them in some way to have some sort of trust, maybe is the word I could use, because we've not had that for a long time.
Sum up, if you would, the mood, your mood, and what you sort of think is the mood of the families about to go back to Liverpool now.
I think what I'm scared of, because the families have many a time been on a high, when we've been going back to Liverpool, and we've always been let down. I don't want the families going on a high and getting let down again, but I think after tonight they've heard themselves, and I'm sure they can speak for themselves as well, actually, not just me. I think they're all going home feeling a lot better tonight, and hopefully they have a good sleep for a long, yeah.
I ask you, I mean, what's your sort of feeling having sat through that debate?
I was very, very moved by the debate tonight. I was very moved at the support that we got, and I'm very, very pleased that there's going to be no redaction on the documents, and basically I'm just very pleased with it, basically.
It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time coming. I wish these facilities had been there 22 years ago, and then it wouldn't have taken as long as it has. But hey-ho, it's the facility's there now. The Home Secretary's gone with having the debate. She's asked for full disclosure without redaction to the panel and then to the families before it goes out to the media and the rest of the country. So we're very pleased about that.
And your own sort of feelings now, are you leaving the House of Commons with more hope perhaps than...
Yes, I'm leaving the House of Commons tonight with quite a lot of optimism, really, which is something I haven't had for a long time. So that's quite nice.
Nice to hear. That's very good.
You're welcome.
Is there anybody else who particularly wants to sort of say anything? No. All right, thanks very
Don't
much
be
indeed.
shy, come on, get used to it, don't be
I've got my foot on it in case he sees it.
What did you think of the debate, both of you?
I'm pleased it's happened. I'm pleased what Steve Rotherham done. You know, he supported us since the 20th anniversary. But I'm still a bit, until I see it's all in place and it's going, still a bit frightened of getting my hopes up too much.
I mean, did you think, you know, that this day would ever come a full parliamentary debate?
No. I think we were just slogging along all the time, and we didn't know. We just thought every opportunity that came, we were going to grab it. It's been, long and winding road, and we've got this far now. Let's hope we can go. Yeah, we can go further on with it.
I mean, same question to you. You just sat through the debate.
Yes, we don't want to leave.
Oh, right.
You just look at me and just ignore the camera.
Who's telling from?
This is ITN, this is ITN.
Oh, yeah.
To be for Granada. And I know they interviewed you today.
You did?
Granada.
Oh, yeah.
Just give me your reaction today to what you saw in
I'm quite pleased so far, yes, I'm very happy. I mean, it's took 22.5 years so far, or 7,490 days so far.
What do you make of the speeches that were given today?
Some of the speeches I was moved on one or two of them, yeah. I was really, really good, choked, yeah. I don't normally get choked as much.
Do you have faith now going forward?
Well, to me, I've got lots of faith, but I think that's our semi-final now today. We've got our cup final yet to come. We're in another 6 months' time. This hopefully is the final closure on that part for our group. Yeah, we do have other things going on, but that's one big part of our. I lost it. I've lost what I'm going to say.
Start again. Okay. This is the final part. Let's just talk a bit about it. So, what's happened today? I mean, will it help you?
It'll give my family, personal family, a lot of closure to today. Yeah. We can start to rebuild the rest of our lives, can't we? Yeah. Thank you.
Because we interviewed you, I'm from ITV News as well, we interviewed you up in Liverpool, so now that we've been...
Right,
nice
okay, love.
Some closure. So what's your reaction? What do you make of what you saw in the Commons?
Well, if everything goes as it's supposed to go tonight on what's said, we are very pleased. Because basically all we wanted was... we want the truth to come out, and if the panel, can have the documents which Theresa May said they've already got, and everybody complies, and we've just got to sit back now and wait for the, for the panel to do its job.
You said earlier today, earlier this morning, that you want this to help get the truth out about your
Yeah,
son. Do you feel that this is
Well, it's not just my son, it's the other 95 family, the other 95 families as well. I don't speak for just me, I speak for them all, because we're all on, okay, we've got a couple that are sort of like on their own, and we've got a couple that support the justice, but at the end of the day, we're all after the same thing, and that is the truth. And so whichever group you come from and whichever your motive might be, basically it all ends up at the same end.
Tell me some of the speeches given today by some MPs from your league.
I thought that they'd done, or they seemed to have done, a lot of research. They actually knew what they were talking about for a change, because quite often they get up and they start speaking and they start talking a load of codswallop and they don't actually know what they're talking about. But you did feel as if they took the time and the interest to say what we have been saying for years, and you felt, well, yeah, at last they've listened to us, and at last we might get somewhere. But once again, you don't build your hopes up too high, because we've built hopes up high before and they've been crushed.
On the day, how confident are you now going forward that you're going to the truth?
Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed and saying our prayers, and hopefully everything will be all right. But we don't think any of us can actually or will actually believe until it's actually the finished product. Because, as I say, you just daren't build your hopes up too high. You just get let down too easy. But hopefully it'll be okay.